Meet the Mets. Meet the
Nah,
Mets.
don't butcher
Well, I think it's for the first time in a long time the Mets fans have more hope than I've seen. It almost feels like they won a championship. But today the Mets formally announced Steve Cohen as the owner of the Mets. Okay. One big thing that we like to do here is we do like to cover local New York sports. So this is a big shout out to my friend Juanito. Then you know we do cover Mets
it.
baseball on the Daily Sporting. I got Hammer and Ricky on board, both lifelong Mets fans, and we're gonna get their reaction to this. Obviously, we know I rock with the true Blue Boys. I'm a Yankee fan throughout, but I will say, Cohen had a great press conference. When you look at the way he set the tone, he was very measured. He said he comes out here and he expects to win in the next 3 to 5 years, but he also doesn't want to, burn a bunch of money and put himself in a bad situation with a lot of bad contracts. So it sounds like they're not just going to be wasting their money; they're going to spend it wisely, and that he wants to be basically the Dodgers of the East. So, with that said, let's open it up for some reactions just on how you feel about the new owner. I guess we'll start it off from right to left. We'll go with Hammer first. What's your feelings here? How are you thinking? I see you're all decked out, got the green screen to match. So I mean, let's see what you got.
In the words of the world famous 10-time champs, it's a new day. Yes, it is. Happy for new ownership right now. It's something that you've heard me on ESPN radio scream about to various personalities. With the thing, he definitely said all the right things. I just hope things come to fruition. In regards to him not wanting to blow money on a guy that he's keeping for 3 to 5 years. Yeah, we don't want to have guys like, let's see, Cespedes, guys like Jason Bay, just guys that couldn't cut it. There's guys that are in the market right now that so many fans want, including somebody like Trevor Bauer, who I'm still iffy about. We were having this conversation earlier today. I'm not sure if he's built for the big market. I like his attitude. I like his personality. I love his play, but I don't know if he's built for New York.
Mm-hmm. And Ricky, how you feeling about this? I know
I
you
mean,
you
look,
were you were
it never
yeah.
happens. Everyone complains about the owners, and the fans always know the owners never leave. This is something that never happened, especially in New York. No one sells a New York team. You just don't. It's almost virtually impossible. That's why, like I said, it never happened. So for this to happen, it completely changes the whole landscape thing. He had this press conference. It was probably the best thing you could hear from the new owner. It's complete opposite of what the Wilpons have done. Everything he's done, and then again, people underestimate Sandy Alderson. I think he's a big thing. I think when the Mets got him, it was a good hire. It was just unfortunately they had no money. He was, he has hands behind his back. There's nothing he could do. But Sandy Alderson's been around. He's put up championship teams. He put up Oakland, Canseco. He drafted Canseco, or he traded for him. Drafted McGuire, traded for Sierra. So he put that Oakland team first. So again, Sandy Alderson knows baseball. They said they're going to change scouting around. Like it didn't just start from like, hey, we're going to get the big free agents. I don't even think he really mentioned any of the free agents at all. And it was just basically, hey, we're going to work within scouting, whether that's analytics. He's a big number guy. We all know that. And I think it's just completely, it was just everything you wanted to hear from him. He was excited. I was a fan. I grew up in Long Island. Like there's nothing more you could ask for from that person.
And I think that when you're looking at baseball today, one of the best blueprints you could, try to recreate would be that Dodgers blueprint. Because if you look at what the Dodgers have done, and there's sustained
But they spend money crazily.
But
too.
that's exactly
like
what
he said he doesn't want to do
no
to the point where he's
right. But here's the thing,
like a drunken sailor. I think he said
exactly.
We're not like a drunken sailor.
He specifically referenced the Dodgers because here's what the Dodgers do. They spend money like a big money market team. Like I'm a major marketer. I
as
spend
you
my money.
should, as you should.
But they also are insane with their player development. They're insane with their scouting. They're insane with their farm system. And that's why, because they have one of the best farm systems, and then they go in their players for major free agents. And that's where he wants to be. And I think that's where, if you're in a big market, like if I'm the Yankees, like, that's, I feel like what we've been trying to be. Some of our young prospects have developed a little bit. But at the end of the day, we've yet to hit on, like, Cole was that first big pitcher that we hit on in free agency and, since CC Sabathia. And I think we need another guy just to come in to pitch. But at the same point in time, we have a structure, a setup. We go through it. We didn't trade the whole farm away when guys got hurt.
First of all, let's not get into the
I'm saying that's the way.
Yankees Day. This is the Mets Day.
Right, but here's the thing. That's the way you have to build in baseball. You cannot just go out there and tell me I'm going to spend money and buy all these guys and think that you're going to be competing, because he said it right. You cannot buy championships.
Let's talk about whose free agents are out there, because we're talking about he's getting the team now. This is his.
Yeah.
Every move from here on in, who he gets now determines on what he's going to be looking for.
Right.
Now, I'm looking at free agents out there. To me, I don't know. A lot of people don't like it. I like JT Realmuto. That's who I would prefer. I don't know. I as much as I like Bauer, I don't know if Bauer's coming here. Bauer has said he doesn't like New York. I think he said that verbally. I don't like New York. I wouldn't play in New York. I think he said that verbally.
How old is JT? Because I know JT is looking for about $30 million a year.
JT is 29 years old.
So a 29-year-old catcher is looking for $30 million a year for how many years?
How many years do you think JT could give us?
I'm thinking he wants a 4 to 5 year deal if he's at 29.
I'm thinking he could give us 4 years.
4 years at $30 million a pop for a catcher?
I'd say he could do 5.
Not giving a contract for 8-9 years.
Even 5 years at $30 million?
If he does well for us in 4 years, and I didn't want to talk about winning a World Series like he said, but winning a World Series, then it's worth it, Steve. You know that. If he gets us a World Series and he gets us 4 years, that 5th year he could just celebrate, wave goodbye to the fans. I wouldn't care
let's be honest here.
I wouldn't care if he's the last 2 years and he won us a World Series. I wouldn't care what he does.
He's at 29 years old now, right? And you're going to
these are going to be the best final years of his years. That's it. We're getting him right here. He's going to go all out. I believe, go all out. To me, Bauer's not getting it. If you had a choice and you tell me Bauer will sign right now, I would take Bauer. To me, he would be a great behind DeGrom, but he's not coming here. I don't believe Bauer's coming.
See, I don't. I mean, if you see his agent and him, they're very big on Twitter. They're talking about it. They're interacting with the fans. New York is definitely not off the table. I think he's doing it definitely to drive up prices.
I just don't know how chance we got and how much are we going to pay him? How much is he looking for?
I mean, yes, that's all valid.
He's looking for an insane amount of money because at first he wanted to just become a free agent 1 year or sign 1 year and then after the pandemic
with everything that's going on, we don't have any specific numbers yet, so we can't start saying the guy wants ridiculous money before we know what he wants, or he wants ridiculous years before he knows what he wants.
We can't say that after a COVID year and 60 games, baseball teams lost money. It's not as up there. I think the luxury tax now, I think that's why the Mets could get a bunch of money I think their budget is like 175. That's what it was, the luxury. Now it's lower. They could go. They're talking about going up to 210. Probably not going to do that, but maybe around 200, 190. We have a big chunk of money coming to us. If he goes up to 190, that's like $80 million.
Where you at now?
Huh?
And where are you at now?
And we're like at 170. We were at 175, but the luxury tax fell, and I think we're like at 117. And they're talking about going up to 119.
So
after certain players, certain contracts are.
But that would leave you at 49 million, right? And if you have 49 million, let's just say you have 49 million in open cap space.
They're talking about having more than that, Steve. They're talking about having a good.
You said you were at 170, right?
117.
117.
And they're talking about going to 190 on the luxury tax.
So you're talking about 80 million.
But 210 is like the limit until they start, paying.
Mhm.
but 210 even is a lot. So they're talking about he might even think about going up to 190, and that's a big jump from 170. After all the contracts are done, from going 117 to 190, that's 80 million in cap space. Now that's the only thing that Bauer might change his mind if you go throw money at him, but he doesn't look like he wants to do that. And Bauer, I don't know if I don't know if it's worth even for Bauer that much money to throw.
Now, Hammer, here's my question to you. Knowing that we have a older JT, but he is playing for the Phillies, so it would take from an in-division team, and seeing how the bad contracts have gone from yesteryear, I don't think anyone that signed a lengthy contract or one of these big contracts at this age has really panned out. From Miggy to Albert Pujols to Robinson Cano, we've seen a history of these longer contracts for these older players not really work out. What would be your limit on a kid like JT Realmuto? And would you be looking at a guy like Springer, who's not your prototypical center fielder, but could really be a defensive boost for a team that's really not that good in outfield defense?
It'd be a serious upgrade over Nimmo, that's for sure. And a lot of people have been talking about trying to get rid of him one way or another. We've been in desperate need for a center fielder for quite some time. Realmuto, I would definitely give him a decent amount. I wouldn't go 30 a year. I'd say between.
I don't think he'll get 30. I don't think he'll get 30.
I would say
COVID.
between 20. I would say between 23 to 25 for at least 5 years.
I'll take
I would definitely put that on the table if Mr. Cohen was listening to me now.
After a COVID year, that's a good amount of money.
Yeah, absolutely. It's hard to say because we also have to take into consideration who's going to be in the front office, who's going to be the president of operations, who's going to be the general manager, because Cohen did state that he's leaving everything to the professionals, which is the main thing that we have not seen in New York for any New York sports team in a while. You have Dolan that controls everything with the Knicks. You have the Johnsons who have the final say with the Jets.
Right.
You had the Wilpons who pretty much did what they wanted because they more or less didn't have the money to spend as owners of a big market team.
Don't you think Steve Cohen's still going to get the final word?
I think he's going to have the final word, but I feel that the guys that they bring into the front office are going to be guys that they trust, guys with knowledge, guys that will present legit things to the table. Cohen, lifelong Mets fan. He wants to see them win the World Series. If the pieces fit, if the money's right, if it helps build a great team for years and years to come, then let it happen.
I mean, I tell you one thing when he said, what did he say? Because he had a lot of nice quotes. Like, then he also said, he goes, "I'm not paying someone to learn."
Oh my God! Yeah.
Right.
He goes, "I'm not paying someone to learn," which I thought was like, oh, great. This guy's like no joke. He's like, I want well-rounded, knows everything. Diversity was big, I thought, in what he was saying. He's like, he goes, I don't have time for someone to not know what the hell is going on. Basically.
And I think one of the best things that he had mentioned and that he said that he spoke about is that with the baseball revenues being down and some teams having to unload salary, that could be one thing that the Mets actually look at doing is saying, hey, you can't afford this contract anymore. So instead of me going out into the free agent market, I'll absorb this contract and get you out of this situation because this player fits
what the Yankees did. What the Yankees did.
They
made that good trade. Stanton, Jeter wanted to unload money. They didn't really give up anything for Stanton.
But you could say the same thing again. I'm going to go back. The Dodgers. That's exactly what the Dodgers did with Mookie Betts. This is why the Dodgers.
But you have to be willing to. That's what I'm saying. The cap space. You have to be willing and able to have that money to go to a team and say, listen, we're going to basically just take money so you could save money. We're going to give you whatever we think is fair and then take that whole money for you. Well, you need a big team to absorb that. Finally, the Mets sound like that big team.
That's exactly what I'm going to say. The Mets are finally putting themselves into the big market conversation.
Yes.
And that's why I say they want to, like, I hate that I keep on there, but the Dodgers develop their young kids because, I mean, as we saw, what is it? Corey Seager was from their system. Will Smith was
Peterson.
Peterson. What is his face? Cody Bellinger. The starting pitcher that they had, Walker Buehler, was from their system. Julio Arias is from their system. They have developed more prospects, and then they went out and bought the guys.
And that was the problem.
I'm sorry.
That was the problem with the Mets in regards to the Wilpons. They would get rid of some of their top prospects in the farm system, thinking they're going to make a splash and get these big name players, but these big name players don't do anything here. And at the same time, you look at a guy in the front office right now of Cleveland, Chris Antonetti. The Mets and a lot of reporters right now are very high on him and believe that he should be the president of operations right now for the New York Mets. And hopefully that does come to fruition. We just have to wait and see how this pans out and how long they're going to do this interview process for a president of operations and a GM. And I know they're saying that Luis Rojas may be back this coming season, which I'm on the fence about right now.
I'd rather not.
I'm on the same page. They're saying, "Oh, the door's left open."
I thought first they said he was gone, and then I heard them say, "No."
It's basically up to the new president.
He may be back, but the door is still slightly open. Like, if you come in, and this is going to be the same thing we're going to see with the Jets during the offseason, Gase is going to be gone. This GM and Peterson is going to be the one. I'm sorry, not Peterson. Douglas is going to make his decision on the next coach that he wants. Same situation here. We're going to hire a president of operations and a general manager. They're going to want one of their guys as their next manager. I don't think they want to keep Rojas.
Yeah, I don't think Rojas was a last second. Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
They really didn't have their choice.
Well, I also
last second.
It also depends on when they actually find the person. How deep into the process is it? Because let's just say they don't find anyone till getting close to spring training. At that point in time, it may be just easier to let him continue with the team as you evaluate what's going on so you can bring the right person in. Because if a president is not around long enough, how's he going to know the right type of person that he needs to fill that clubhouse?
So I go back to Sandy again. Sandy's been around forever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's been, how many years, right? 35 years, whatever it
30 plus
he's
years.
The one that started scouting in DR, Dominican Republic. He was scouting over there.
Mm-hmm.
Early, he told Oakland that's where they should be scouting. So look, if you talk about someone that's ties, that knows people, that knows what's going on, it's Sandy Alderson.
He said in the interview today that he's already interviewing people.
Yes,
obviously, he's not. Obviously, he's not going to say names. Steve didn't say names the guys he's going after. Like Steve said, I'm talking to agents. I'm not going to say who the players are, but I'm speaking to agents. Like, they're doing their due diligence already. They already have the wheels in motion from the time it was complete. He's officially the owner. He's putting the wheels in motion. He's going to start doing things as quickly as possible to start getting these guys together.
He's ready to go.
It's like the NBA. Like, these guys might be upcoming free agents, but most of them already know where they're going before 1201 hit. It's like maximum deal at 1201. Like, I really negotiated the whole thing out.
Signing.
Yeah. So that's one thing that we're gonna have to keep watch of. But all right, so let's wind down on this bad boy. They spoke so highly of DeGrom and how great of a player he is, and I don't think anyone can doubt that he's one of the top 3 pitchers in all of baseball right now. So with having a strong ace like that, it's easier for you guys to put yourself into World Series and playoff considerations because you're basically 1 or 2 starters away from going on a run like the Nationals. That's very possible.
I think we have to fill up a couple of things, and we have to see what's going on if DH comes, because DH would actually help the Mets.
Yes,
a lot.
And I do think that the DH is going to be something that does get passed. And like I said,
I see DH coming. I hope so.
You guys with the DeGrom at the top of your rotation, though, you could be 1 or 2 pitchers away from being in a team that gets hot and can win a World Series. So with that question, who is the number 1 free agent or prospect that you do hope that the Mets either trade for or sign? Because I know Lindor, everyone's talking about, and the Mets would package some of their shortstops together and try and get Lindor for the middle. DJ LeMahieu was someone they're talking about, because if they do get the DH, they can put him at second base and have to put out Cano out there. JT Realmuto, because they do need a catcher. Bauer, because they need a starting pitcher. Some sort of closer, because God knows that bullpen is a mess. Where do you think the number 1 thing the Mets should go after? And we'll start with you, Hammer.
I want a new catcher.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been forever since I've seen a solid guy behind the plate.
Yeah.
We had Wilson Ramos. We had Travis d'Arnaud.
Travis d'Arnaud was a beast this year.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, he leaves the Mets.
Wow,
and look at what the fuck
he
happens.
left the Mets and became good.
Kevin Plawecki, Todd Hundley, Mike Piazza. I could go on and on and on, but it's about that time that we get somebody that can call the games and somebody that's not going to act like a spoiled little shit. Oh, I only want to catch for this pitcher. I only want to catch for that guy. We're not doing that shit anymore. You guys get paid millions of dollars to do something that you actually love.
Mm-hmm.
Show up, do your job. We need a change, and the change is here now with Steve Cohen at the helm. I cannot wait to start seeing the moves he makes in free agency. The major problem we have right now in our farm systems between AA and AAA, our prospects, very, very, very thin because we've gotten rid of guys in the past for other players.
Yep.
So for us to try to develop is going to be difficult at first.
Well, the one good thing that you guys do have on your side now is that they're going to put a lot more money into international scouting, where I think that's where a lot of teams have been able to really make out. Like with the Yankees, one of the last players that they signed is the Dominican kid, the Martian. You know, he's one of the highest ranked prospects. He's 17 at Dominican Republic. But guys like that are, you know, once you have your international signing money, you can go out there and not have to worry about drafting this kid like, you know, you have to do with some of these American guys. You can go sign him at 17.
The thing is, the Mets have an academy in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
This is how they get a lot of their guys, is their academy down there.
Yeah.
So it definitely helps. And yeah, they can sign guys as young as 16 years old. Because I remember when they used to there were like a handful of teams throughout the years, at least when I was younger, they used to hold open tryouts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well,
So,
I mean, look, at least look for me. What they're going to have cap space. I mean, I don't see why he can't get 2 out of the 4 people you call.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, then of course it's Bauer and JT Realmuto.
Really?
If we get 3, it'll be George Springer. If it's 3, I see George Springer coming here.
Yeah. Oh no, actually, probably DJ LeMay. He would help us more.
Yeah, I like. He'd be real pissed about that one.
No, that would, to me, honestly, forget about the Yankees. Yes, that's the cherry on top. But DJ, to me, he's shown what he's about. The Yankees cannot let him go. To me, that's a perfect sign.
That's a whole different situation. I think that the Yankees don't want to let him go. That we should try to make another play if we can to get to avoid losing him. But I could also then see if the Yankees lost him, you move Glaber back to second and you sign a Simmons or you trade for a Lindor, and all of a sudden it's a wash.
I mean, so like I said, if he's free, that to me is another.
I mean, I would say, like, if I look at your team and you look at it, you guys don't have much speed, right? You don't have many guys that can really steal a base or really, you know, get after it.
But who really steals bases anymore since everybody's playing this analytics shit?
And look, I love Lindor. You're right. You're telling me if the trade is something that's just really us taking money, then my thing is it depends if they want all our shortstops. Like, I don't know how I feel. We're talking about building our farm system or whatever. Like all of a sudden now we're just gonna get Lindor and we're gonna give our guys away. I mean, again,
but I really want to see Jeff McNeil go back to his natural position. I really want to see Jeff McNeil at his natural position at second base. This whole thing with Cano was a joke. They should have never got him. They should have never got him in the first place.
That's why that DH will help us because Smith can now just go to DH and
But no, wouldn't Cano go to DH? Cano would probably go to DH.
They could flip back and forth. I don't want Cano at second base. I want Jeff McNeil where he should be in that second base.
I mean, if with Jeff McNeil, it's really hard to justify a guy like DJ LeMahieu over another piece. You know, I would say because
if they get LeMahieu, you keep him in the outfield. If you don't get LeMahieu, you put him at his primary position at second base.
I mean, well, who would you rather have then? I know we keep going on tangent. Then JT, I mean not JT, but DJ LeMahieu or George Springer. Who do you think would be better for the team?
I love DJ.
I think that the outfield defense that a Springer used to give you.
That guy.
I mean, if you're taking, because I forgot about McNeil. If you're taking McNeil from out of the outfield and moving him to second base, what's really the difference between DJ LeMahieu and McNeil, other than maybe DJ's a little better defensively? Because you're not going to play him at first because you have Pete at third base. I mean, what are you doing at third base? That's the next question. You know, that's a cornerstone position.
Two hitters like that with some of the highest averages of all of baseball. That is, to me, is enticing. That means guys get on base. True. That means they're hitting when guys are on base. Things happen. It's no home run.
But wouldn't your defense be worse? Because now you keeping McNeil in the outfield. McNeil is not an outfielder. I'm sorry. He's not. He doesn't have to speed for it.
No, McNeil's not.
And that's to me. If you're building a pitching team and you have a guy like DeGrom, I would want a better defense. And McNeil to me is the perfect fit at second. You move Robbie to DH. You platoon Robbie and Smith at DH, and then you give some of them some spots at first base to spell Pete Alonso. But you need a third baseman, and you need someone that can come into the outfield and play either center field or can play left field. And realistically,
is George Springer worth it? That's what I'm saying.
Defensively, I think that's where I think a lot of people sleep on him. He's one of the better defensive outfielders.
You're right about that, but
and I think that to me, when you have a guy like Jacob deGrom on the mound, and you have a guy like Noah Syndergaard on the mound, where it's like every out matters, then yeah, because not only can he bop it out, but he can literally sit there and take him away like he did in the playoffs and like he's done throughout his career. So I think George Springer is someone that's being slept on, and who knows, they might make a trade because Pittsburgh or one of these other teams just can't afford it, or the bargain basement deals like a Chris Archer. I could see Chris Archer being a nice fourth or fifth starter.
And what about Nolan? Right, he wants to get out of there.
Who?
Nolan.
Nolan?
Arenado, I mean.
Yeah, Arenado is another one that they've been talking about for the last year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, he wants to get out.
The Mets have constantly come up in conversation about that. Mm-hmm. You know what? I'll ask Ricky this question. What would you think about Justin Turner coming back to the New York Mets?
How old is he?
He's up there.
He's up there because he was with.
No, he's actually a year older than me. He's 35.
That's just more for. That's not. I don't think that's the route to go.
I would
get 35. No, I don't know.
I would get Justin Turner at 35 if I signed JT Realmuto, if I signed Trevor Bauer, and I'm getting him now. Then yeah, because I get my catcher, I get my pitcher. Now I put him in there to really solidify that infield defense. Have that third, because if you're running a rotation of Bauer, Syndergaard,
and not a bad third,
and DeGrom, those three right there can carry you far. Noah,
and look, we all know kind of Noah's not going to be Noah. I'm assuming, really.
But as a three,
Noah's a three. Forget. And what's his name? Our rookie pitcher, he pitched well.
And Lugo did a good job.
What was it?
Peterson, no?
Was it Peterson? Yeah, it was Peterson. He looked really good.
Yeah, he looked good. No, again, that was not. He had some trouble. He was in and out of, but not all the time. There was times he looked dominant.
His first few starts, I was impressed.
Yeah.
I told people almost immediately. I did like the kid. So.
All right.
Yeah, I like him.
So then, last question, because I have another one right before we leave here. All right, last question.
What is it?
And we'll close out with the closer. Does Edwin Diaz get a shot to start the season as the closer, or do you guys go out and sign someone to immediately take his spot?
That all depends on who the manager is. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, because I don't think Diaz is gonna. I don't think Diaz deserves another year, but I mean, he had his moments, right?
Yeah.
But that's only 6. That's only 60 games. So God knows if we would kept going, what would have happened.
Yep.
But are we still stuck with? Are we still stuck with Familia?
I think you have him for another year.
I think it's another. I think this is last year.
Fuck my life.
No,
that bullpen is scary.
Well, but look, Betances.
His control is suspect.
Man, what team did he play for again before he came?
The Yankees.
Maybe he comes back. I don't know. Our bullpen is bad. I mean, he has a lot of cap. Look, from what I'm reading, it looks like he's gonna have a lot of cap space.
Yep.
Cohen doesn't look. He's gonna hire dumb people, like he said. I'm not paying people to learn. Like as soon as you go in, boom. like you said, Steve, when they come to him and they say, "Hey, this is what we have to do," Hammer, he's going to trust them because he's like, "All right, I picked them. I handpicked them.
Yeah.
These are guys I trust. If I can't trust them for this, now something humongous, maybe it's a different story. Hey, we're going to trade so and so." Now Cohen has to really think about it, man. That's a different story. Of course, he has the final word.
As long as it's something that makes sense and isn't equivalent to Bill O'Brien trading away DeAndre Hopkins.
So then, would you trade Pete Alonso in a deal for Lindor?
No.
Jeez, really?
And you know what?
I didn't even think. As soon as we said, we both said no.
So,
really?
Cohen put a tweet out. He wanted to hear from the fans and suggestions on things that they should do now that he's the owner.
Mm-hmm.
And you had people that weren't even Met fans that were coming out with some ridiculous tweets like trading Pete Alonso or trading DeGrom. And I'm like, are you smoking Met? Like, what's wrong with y'all?
But
Pete Alonso to me is like, if you can get a guy like Lindor, I can see it because you could play a Smith or you could play a Cano.
No, we're not trading Pete Alonso.
I don't think Pete Alonso is going to be a better player than Lindor.
Yeah, I think he can or be as good, and he's our home guy. I'm fine.
He's gonna be there for a long time.
We're giving him another year. That's not over.
I mean, if he has another year where he thinks he has no value, so that you have to look at it like that too.
No, he'll be fine.
I mean, let's put it like this. I think him and Luke Voigt now have about the same equal value.
No, I don't know about that.
Yeah, Luke Voigt.
What you're talking about is what happened to Gary Sanchez. He's not.
No, Gary Sanchez did take a dip.
Gary Sanchez is a bum.
Gary Sanchez is useless.
But let's put it like this.
At this point, they were trading for anything.
Let's put it like this: if Petey has another season, kind of like how
Gary Sanchez has become when you bench up. Gary said when you bench him in the playoffs, he doesn't even come up for pinch hitting. Steve, stop it. That means you have no faith in this guy for
a home run. He got a home run. The problem is Higashioka.
They benched him. I think they not bench him. The same thing happened with Ellsbury. They bench Ellsbury in the playoffs. When it's game on the line, you just signed the biggest contract ever for the Yankees, one of the huge contract, and then you're benching. He's available, but you're benching him. We both said, I said it back then. That is an indictment on what the hell they think about Ellsbury. Now, what they think about Gary Sanchez is the same thing. Now, I'm not saying that he can't come back, but it's going to take a lot for that to come back. Because when you have a pinch hitter and you don't even give him that.
See, that's the thing, though. Gary's bat was not there, and Higgy was playing better. You cannot.
Gary's not there. Gary wasn't there behind the plate either. So stop.
Nothing. That's why I say he's useless. He's not even. He was suspect already defensively before.
Okay, that's fine. But what I'm saying is this: if Pete has another season like how Gary did, that spiral, right? It's like he came out good. Yeah, because let's face it,
it has to be something like outrageous. He has to be
he dropped last year
behind the equator.
He dropped last year. How many games did they play? What were the circumstances this past season? Gary's been on a slide for 2 years now, bro.
Were bad. What's his name was bad? Yelich who's always on time. Sure. Everything is like a clock.
Yeah.
This was not easy for anybody. This was not easy for any professional athlete doing things totally out of the norm, and we're seeing that in other sports right now.
But other players played great. And when you look at it from that context, how long does Pete Alonso get that leash from a great rookie season? So next season, yes, you're going to have to look at him and say, does he get better? Does he? Because
he gets 2 more years. I'm telling you right now, Pete's going to get 2 to 3 more years.
Definitely, 100%. It's not even.
So just
it's not even
exactly.
And you're not trading him unless you're getting Trout.
I think who's better? Lindor is a top 10 player.
I'm being. What I'm saying to you is, unless Mets are not trading him, Steve, is more than just what his numbers are right now. At this point, he's the face. Everyone loves Pete Alonso, just like the Yankees with Judge. It's not like say Judge is just right there, right? He a couple of years ago he was the face, and now again he's
injury prone every other second.
So again, the Yankees are not getting rid of Judge right now either, and I don't blame them.
I think we have to listen if there's offers. I do think that's the case.
But like I said, unless you're getting Trout, you're not really listening to offers with Pete Alonso.
I mean that's not true. I honestly, if you ask me personally,
you'd be the only one.
If I can give up Judge in the deal for Lindor, I would definitely consider it.
Yes, but
Lindor is that good.
Judge is constantly hurt. He doesn't
Hey.
get on the field. Pete Alonso will get on the field and stay on the field. He's going to have his at-bats. Judge can never get in the groove because he's never on the field. Of course, I would, if the Yankees, oh my God, their minds would explode if the Cleveland said, hey, I'll trade you Judge for Lindor for Judge. Like this. Okay.
But I don't know how you want to do it like this for Pete Alonso. I don't think Pete Alonso is that good.
Now that's a big one, but Pete
Lindor
stays on the field. They might say, hey, he's going to be what Judge was supposed to be, hitting 45 to 50 home runs. That's what they're thinking because he showed it already as a rookie.
I was there. I was there the night he broke the record.
I saw the home run. So again, they're not going to just say, if he was someone that got hurt all the time like Judge, then that's a different story. But injury prone is a huge thing with teams. If you can't get on the field, I can't even trust you to get on the field. How can I trust you that you're going to be as good as this person? But now if you get on the field, I trust you. I know you, that you will turn this around. That was just a sophomore COVID slump for 60 games.
Listen,
it's a completely different story, Steve. You can't say that.
It'll be interesting to see how this guy's career progresses.
I know, but you're making outrageous. You're trying to compare.
I'm not making it outrageous. I'm saying if a Lindor out there
exactly.
That's not a fair comparison because you know Judge, of course, he's always hurt. You're going to give that away. Steve, that's a no-brainer. Everyone knows you'll do that right now. For Lindor?
No-brainer for Judge for Lindor, but there's no way in hell you would do Pete Alonso.
I'm not saying there's no way in hell, but it's not the same thing as a no-brainer. Mets have to really think about it and say, hey, we're just going to give up on this kid after what he did for us.
We're talking about a gold
Lindor is something I would love.
A gold glove switch hitting shortstop. You know how rare that is?
I get it.
That's as rare as
it's still what I'm saying. Mets have to pause. Yankees, there's no pausing. They will deliver Judge to Cleveland in the silver platter. Not even think about it. You know that, Steve. That's why you said it, because you would do it in a second.
I would do it. The fan base wouldn't. The Yankee fan base.
Every Yankee fan right now would sign up for that.
No, they
would. Take a poll. We take a poll. It would be 100%.
No, the Yankee fans with Judge are just like you guys with Pete Alonso. Oh no, we're not going to deal.
No.
But when Pete stinks it up for 2 more years, and you're like,
I just said to you, it's a Mets pause. I'm not saying they don't do it. I'm just saying there's a pause. The Mets have to think about it. The Yankees, there's no really thinking about it. I don't think they hesitate for that.
Because, like you said,
what do you think, Hannah? Straight up or not?
He's literally the face of marketing. He's your face of marketing. That's the thing about Judge. He is your marketing face, and guess what? That pays the bills. We can say all this other crap. That pays the bills.
But losing this season hurt because it was 60 games. They thought they could they thought they could do this. This was the year to do it, and everyone would have loved them for it. This was the year to do it for the Yankees. Don't tell me it wasn't. It was the year for them. They
played a third of a season and he couldn't stay healthy for 60 fucking games. Come on.
But then we could say the same thing about Noah Syndergaard. The guy can't stay healthy either. But there's so many players like that.
He got Tommy John before, like he jacked his elbow up before the season started. Like it happened.
And Noah has given us more than one season. Judge has given you really one great season. That
was his rookie year, and that was
That was his rookie year. He hasn't given you anything else. Noah has given us 3 years, 4 years already of pretty good seasons. One remarkable season, and one that went to the World Series. Again, Judge has not done that. And I'm not giving up on Judge either. As long as he stays healthy, to me, him at bat, he's a problem. I think the problem is staying healthy is a big deal.
That's the one thing I said about him after Judge's rookie year. I said, I hope the kid has a successful, long career, but he has to stay healthy. Because he could be shattering numbers.
He looks like a nice guy. I mean, I have no idea.
Yeah. But he looks like he could.
I'll tell you that much. When you said about face, he does bring attention.
Yep.
That's
why it would be hard for the Yankee fans to do a deal like that. But for me, I just would do that.
Yeah.
All right,
But
Bill.
again, a guy like that, him in the lineup, I get why you don't trade him, but I'm just saying it's a difference. But the Mets have a lot of decisions. We first have to get who's going to start picking these players, who's going to start, telling him, listen, this is who we should go for. Let's start there first. We don't even know what guy we're getting, who we're
I think
signing.
Antonetti's going to get. I think they're going to get Antonetti.
Look,
I think there's a good chance they're going to get him.
Do they get a guy?
Now that would be,
Do they get a guy?
a big splash.
Say it again, Taco.
Do you think they get a guy before Thanksgiving?
They've already started the interview process. I think they could. I know. I think we're 10 days in already to free agency.
Yeah,
They haven't heard anything yet.
Free agency started in baseball. Wow.
Yeah, it started November. It started November 1st.
Mm-hmm. Wow. But I know basketball free agency is not going to be the same. It starts in 10 days. And I already heard that most of the free agents already have contracts. It's just,
look, in basketball,
the tampering.
yeah, it's so different, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
It's like,
get over that.
yeah, it's like in baseball, like in the last few off seasons in baseball have been slow. It's
very slow.
The Manny Machado fiasco, even the Garrett Cole, those were all slow. Basketball, like 12:01. He has signed an official deal.
Yeah, no, NBA
12 years.
NBA gets,
Yep. So
but a lot of players know each other, friends. It's a whole different environment over there. That feels like it's more like a real, I don't know, like a not boys club, but you know what I mean, like
might as well be. You got the banana boat crew,
a rec hall where they go play basketball.
Now,
they all know each other. Now I'm sure there's animosity between players, but
it feels like it's like matchmaking on like Call of Duty or something like that, and you just find out who you got paired up with. Oh shit, we paired up on this one.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so you know what I'm saying? So it's a different environment than baseball. Baseball's completely different. Yeah. People have their own lives. They're not together like that unless you're on the team. Mm-hmm. They're not intertwining with others. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And NBA is different.
All right, boys. We just had a little commingling here. We had the Mets and the Yankees having a civil discussion about the Mets' future. This is a note for all you Mets fans that say all us Yankees hate. We appreciate good quality ownership and the great commentary that your new owner provided. But the Mets fan commentary, some of you guys are a little bit out there. So, we'll forgive you for that. But, once you start winning championships, you can start talking.
Keep it up. I tell you this all the time. You want to talk about history? Go watch a damn History Channel. You want to talk about your 27 rings?
You know what?
A new day. It's a new day, and guess what, bro? We're not gonna be the stepbrothers no more, and we're not gonna be back. We're not gonna be back page news for the wrong reasons either anymore. It's over. It's a new day.
You could be the stepsister on Backpage. How about that?
Right.
All right, everyone. In the words of the infamous Hammer, bring us out here right now, brother.
Make sure to wash your hands and your asses.